think this is it. Alright, guys. I think we're just about ready to go. Let me extend that a little bit. I thought I already did that. Anyway, yeah. Hopefully you guys like the artwork too. Okay, let's go over this now. What do you guys say? Spoiler free. Yeah. I tend to base spoilers on story and stuff like that and actual progression over the mechanics and stuff like that. If people say a couple mechanics here and there, it's not too big of a deal. Yeah, it was relatively spoiler free. There was a few times people went out a bit, but it didn't really affect the game, and I honestly tried to ignore it as much as possible. We did get lost quite a few times. Who is the upper middle and the lower right? The upper middle is Rydia from Final Fantasy IV when she's older, and the bottom right is Ark from Terranigma. Alright, music rating. I like the music in this game. There's, again, for an older game, there's lots of repeated tracks and stuff like that, but there was a lot of good tracks in it. Overall, I'd say I'd give it about a 7. There was some music that I really liked in it, and there was other music where I was just kind of okay with, but overall, for the Sega, it's pretty good. I think I liked some of the Shining Force tracks a little bit better, but the game gets you right in when it starts, like right at the startup music and things like that. It's really good, and some of the boss battle music's really epic as well, and I did enjoy that. Graphics for the area, I actually really like the graphics for this. I like the comic book strip cutscenes during the storylines and stuff like that. It's really good and made it really interesting. I feel like it was really well done for a Sega game. If I'm comparing it to something like Shining Force, which is one of the other games that I've played for this JRPG tour so far, I'd say that maybe I like the aesthetics a little bit more in Phantasy Star 4 than I did Shining Force. So I'm gonna go ahead and give that an 8 for the graphics for the era. I really liked it. Everything just fit for me. Alright, the story rating. The story was actually pretty good too. I got attached to some of the characters. We were basically constantly moving. There wasn't really a point where we were held up other than me getting lost and stuff like that. It was just progression, progression, progression. The side stuff was all optional. There was some stuff I didn't even realize was side stuff, and I went in. And overall, it was a solid story for a game like this, honestly. I'm gonna go ahead and give that a 7 as well. So the mechanics rating. I'm gonna say that the mechanics in this game are more interesting than I gave it credit for, and more than I actually did for it as well. Because obviously you were able to combo attacks, which I did not figure out till the real end of the game. Although I assumed it might be a thing. There might have been more efficient ways of grinding. There might have been a lot of efficient ways of doing a bunch of different things. I didn't know what all the skills did. I tried to use skills, didn't seem like they did anything half the time, and I didn't know what they did, so I stopped using them. I got into this rut of knowing what worked for me, so only using what I knew worked. And I feel like this game benefits from experimenting, but with how quickly you get destroyed by enemies, it makes it really difficult to want to experiment, especially if you're trying to progress in the game. Sure, if you're grinding for a while or something like that, I'll mess around with some things, but after nothing worked or really seemed to do much for me, I just used my highest damage spells and abilities, and that's really the only thing I could think to do. Obviously, there's some combo attacks that are probably better healing and everything else, and some abilities that I had no idea what they did whatsoever. I could have read the not strategy guide, but the manual as well to learn some of this stuff in the game. I'm not sure how much detailed information was in the manual. I doubt that all of the character skills were in there, because then it would kind of spoil what characters you got and stuff like that. But I want to say that the game could have maybe been a little bit better with maybe descriptions or something like that with some abilities, or maybe just a little bit more apparent with some of the abilities. Like, just show something if my TP's healing when I use an ability or something like that. Show something on the screen happening to my characters, not just a flash of light and then it's done type of thing. So overall, I'm going to say that the mechanics were really well done and interesting, and I probably did not enjoy them to their fullest, but I did see that they were there, and I definitely see the potential. I am gonna say that I did not like the overall combat in the game of every single enemy in the game being able to chunk my entire HP pool almost instantly. They give you a lot of TP to counteract that, but really, why not just give me less TP and not make that a thing? That just seemed really, really annoying after a while. Even things that I was way stronger than, if they used an ability, it could take out 60, 70 of my HP. And that's like nearly the entire game that happened. I cannot think of a situation where I was not taking way more damage than I feel I really needed to be taking. So I'm gonna, and that, like I said, was something that hindered the game the entire time for me. But it made the game more challenging. And although you guys might have thought I was getting pissed off and frustrated and things like that, I like challenging games. I really do. And this definitely pushed me to to the limits a few times with both my abilities, HP totals, items, and everything else. So I'm going to go ahead and give the mechanics for this a 7 as well. I really feel like they fit the game. I like the equipment and everything else in the game for the characters, all the abilities, the ability to combo and things like that. I equipped 2 shields on Kira at one point, but not on Rune. Alright, so the grinding rating. This one's a little bit more difficult because I know, just like McCody said, that you can beat the game in a speedrun with lower level characters than what I had. However, I want to say that you use probably specific equipment and specific items to get you to do that. And I don't feel like the game gives a good enough description about what those types of items do with like elements and things like that. So it's a bit too difficult to really know that type of stuff on a first playthrough. So if I'm judging it purely on a first playthrough, I'm going to say you're going to have to grind a decent bit in the game. And even if you don't have to grind, there's so many battles in this game that you're going to have to fight some stuff, or you're going to run away, and you're going to have to heal, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of encounters in this game, which is kind of what was a weakness of most older school RPGs and stuff like that. So I'm going to go ahead and give that a 5. There was just a bit too many battles in the game for me overall. And that being said, I'm going to go ahead and give the game a 7. I actually really enjoyed this. I had a lot of fun with it. I think I enjoyed Shining Force a little bit more than this. Although there was aspects of this game that I did enjoy more than Shining Force, I just had a more enjoyable experience completely with the tactics fights and things like that. And maybe I understood Shining Force a little bit more. However, this is actually a game I wouldn't mind replaying and trying some stuff differently and knowing a little bit more about it. So let's see what you guys voted. Alright. Let's see here. 67... 74, 79, 82. Let's get the handy calculator out of here. Looks like you guys gave it a 7.5. Well, I compared it to Shining Force because, like, well, for one, they're on the same system, but I don't know. There's just a lot of, like, comparisons to be said for a system for the game between the graphics and the music and everything else. They are on the same system. Yeah, well, that's probably the problem too. I was using instant death abilities on bosses and saw that it did nothing, but I didn't know that it was an instant death ability. There was really no way for me to know. So yeah, I might replay this. What is today? It's still the 16th. And it took us 19 hours, 21 seconds. Alright, guys. You guys know what time it is? Let's see if we can find... I got the hiccups. It's Waffles time. Alright guys, it is raffle time. All you have to do is type in the word raffle. You got a chance to win. If you win the raffle, you get to pick the next game that I play. If you're a fan of JRPGs, I highly recommend you enter, even if you tend to lurk here more often than not. Again, all you have to do is type the word raffle. It gives you a chance to win. And you can start having a list ready. McCurry raffle. I'll try and make sure that everyone that typed the word actually is entered in. And after this raffle, I'm actually going to start putting Nightbot in there on occasion as well, with a list of 5 games to potentially do. But I said I'd do it after the 30th game, and that's this one. So the next raffle, we'll start doing that. You're entered once, Enjikar. Alright guys, I'll give you about 30 more seconds or so. So again, what I'm trying to do here is beat every JRPG. There's an awful lot of them, 700 or so. It's growing pretty much every week. And I'm letting people pick the next game that I play by entering these raffles. And everyone has equal chance to win. And there's no limit to the amount of times that you can win either. That's PC only, I believe, right now over Hunter, or I would. Oh man, Altanen's entering at the last second. He's like, I better do this. Yes, but is there a physical release for PS4, or is it download only over Hunter? Can you ask if I played a game before choosing it? Sure, but you can also see the amount of... oh, you mean if I played it before, not for this challenge. Alright, guys. Good luck, everyone. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wow, you son of a bitch. He was just freaking talking about this today. Now I have no idea what he has in store for me, because I was talking about this game and being old and difficult and things like that, and he's like, an old and difficult game, wait till I win the raffle again. Okay. Well, what are you throwing in my direction, Nakurti? You've won the most again, Nakurti. And I don't have to put an underscore next to your name anymore. Wow, it defaults to it. I guess I can fix this now. Doo-doo. No mercy indeed. Well, I don't know how I feel about that, Nakurti. I do not know how I feel about that, man. Whoa! RIP underscore, dude! Oh no! We're not playing Phantasy Star again, are we? Oh, loud. What are we doing, dude? Keep the suspense. Let's go. What are we playing? I can already say that. Is it my first time played? Yes. And we're going to go with right, that's what you're gonna pick. I fucking knew it. God damn it. That's what I get for opening my mouth about this game. Alright guys, well, I guess we're playing more Phantasy Star. So within the last, like, 8 games, we're playing 2 Persona games and 2 Phantasy Star games. Alright, Nakurti, you got your wish. Congratulations. It's definitely my first time playing this game. I've never played it before. And next is Persona 4. I did pick up a PlayStation TV, guys. So I should be able to play the golden version. One thing that I'm curious about, though, as to what you guys might want to see, and I'll talk to you about it because I'm really on the fence about it. I have played Persona 4 before, and I've beaten it. And I've beaten it with all of the social ranks, or confidants, or whatever you want to call them. Anyway, would you guys prefer if I follow a guide to get all the confidant ranks again? Not for, like, progression or personas and all that other type of stuff, but for trying to get the best ending. I don't know if I want to try the vanilla version Boom Cannon, because that would be using a PS2 emulator, and my PC's not the best with emulators in the first place. I don't have the game for PS2. That's what it came out for, right? I think. I mean, I can just play through it and stuff like that. Just go for as much anime as I want. I just want to, like I said, I really enjoyed the best ending of that game, and I definitely don't remember everything. But rather than the versions, whether to follow a guide or not is something that I would like you guys to answer. So if you are a part of the Discord and stuff like that, if you want to go to the Small Talk channel and specify what you'd rather see, me go through it casually, or me actually play through it, at least with a guide to the questions and stuff like that. We can watch the Persona 4 anime instead, too. Alright, guys, that's definitely enough for me tonight. I streamed a lot later than I really wanted to. But we beat another game, and hopefully we'll start a new one tomorrow. If not, we'll start it Saturday. Now, no one answered my question. Oh, well, there was a few people that said play casually, but like I said, if you are a part of the Discord, I'd really appreciate people stepping in and expressing what you'd like to see, and I'll just go by what people want to see, and we'll go from there. But let me find somebody to host you guys with, and I do appreciate everyone sticking around. I really do appreciate that. And I will go ahead and put us in this scene while I'm going to find people to host, because now we get to see this glorious artwork up closer. And I'll play some of this music while we find someone else. What do you guys say? What do you guys feel like watching? Let's see who we've got here. Music, please. Let's see. Looks like Daniel's doing some Super Metroid. You feel like watching anime? Then you should watch anime. I've got some recommendations for you. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and host BGG. Alright guys, thanks again. I hope to see you tomorrow. If not, I will see you this weekend for sure. I hope you have a great start to your weekend. A good and fast Friday for those of you that got the end of work week on Friday. And for those of you that are just starting your work week, I do apologize. But hopefully I'll be around to give you guys some entertainment. Alright guys, thanks again. Have a great night.